Hello, welcome back to Behind the Faders to the Live Sound channel. My plan for this week was a totally different video than this. But then last Saturday came along, I had a show, and now I'm making this video. The topic is really just doubling down on my recommendation to check everything that you're setting up while there's still time, while you're still on your own before anybody else shows up. And what happened last Saturday makes this point so perfectly that I thought I'd tell you the story. Since 20 years or something, I every once in a while step in for an old buddy of mine, and I make half playback shows with this German pop singer. It's this very German genre called Schlager. But he's a real icon in that genre since the 70s. So this time around he was booked as the main act on this gala. And our setup for these shows is, it's him, plus 3 backing singers. One of them plays acoustic guitar in one song. So in total, including one spare vocal, I have 8 inputs, including the playback. As for outputs, of course, I have my left and right, and then I have 4 stereo in-ears. So that makes a total of 10 output channels. And I always ask for a Yamaha desk. I started off doing that with Yamaha, and I don't have a file for any other desk. And Yamaha is usually a safe place because everybody has one or can rent one easily. It's usually a CL5, just for convenience, but I can deal with any QL or CL desk with that file. About this time there were some hiccups in the preparation. Usually the office of that guy works perfectly, and weeks before the show everybody's on the same page. Not this time. For some reason no information came through, and it was only last Wednesday when finally I got an email with information, and I got the contact of the company that was handling the show. So I gave them a call. Turns out they received technical specs from 2018. You know how I always say agencies are great in sending out outdated paperwork? This agency normally doesn't make a mistake like that. I have no idea what happened. But also it turned out that he was told that I would bring my own desk. And I said, no, I'm not owning a desk. I need some Yamaha desk, preferably a CL5. I said, no, I can't give you a CL5. All I have is a QL1. So I said, yeah, fine, why not? So I email him my desk file. That's something that I always do, and I really recommend it because you don't want to find out that there's something wrong when you're in front of the desk and you put your USB stick in and it doesn't work. The guy from the company received the file, checked it out, it was all working fine. He sent me a text message saying it's all working, and he explained what he was going to do. He said, since I have another top 40 band on that gig, and they also need radio mics and in-ears, I will not give you a separate plug box, so we have to repatch everything every time. I will put a Dante card into my desk. He was using a Allen Heath D-Live, and make a Dante split for the ins and outs. So you're all independent. We both have the channels. We can both use them. Which was a good idea. By the way, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, because you don't know Dante, it's really crucial these days to have at least a basic understanding about Dante. I'm not going to make a video about Dante because the guys from Audinate, the company behind Dante, have great videos out there. Real experts explaining everything in detail, and these videos are easy to find. Anyway, I figured that everything was sorted. So on Saturday I arrive at the venue, and I run into the assistant of that singer and his tour manager, and they both had checked out the venue already, and they were just on their way back to the hotel, telling me that it's all set, the desk is all prepared, and everything is good. I said, great. So I walk in, and the guy's still busy with sound checking the top 40 band. By the way, if you're not really familiar with this gala stuff, corporate things, gala usually runs like this. You have a DJ who does like walking music and plays some soft music for dinner. If it's a very exclusive gala, maybe you even have like a string quartet or something for that. Then you have speeches, and then you might have some kind of performance by somebody. And at some point, you will have the main act of the evening, which was us in that case. And afterwards, we had top 40 band, and then at some point, the DJ will take over and finish off the event. That's the usual run of the mill. So he's still checking the top 40 band, but I find my desk. I say hello. I look through my file. I realize the guy had forgotten to patch in my monitor split channels, which is fine. It takes a minute to do it. But everything seems to work. So now the top 40 band has finished their sound check, and we start working on my act. So I listen to some music, sounds great. And I say, okay, now let's just go through mics and in-ears to make sure that they're all working properly. So I grab the main mic and I talk into it, I bring it up in the house. Sounds really good. So I'm happy. So now I grab the in-ear pack of my main artist. And this is where the fun begins. So I open my monitor channel and I hear nothing. And I say, sorry, something is mispatched here, I don't hear anything. And of course, I made sure that I'm sending signal out of my desk. So he starts looking for the problem. And then at some point, I hear my voice in my ears. But I also hear it from somewhere else. And I had muted front of house. So turns out it was coming out of some wedges on stage. And he goes like, oh, sorry, and he mutes his wedge sends. And I also had started the playback because I wanted to check the relationship between voice and playback. But I don't hear the playback. And again, I double check, I'm sending out the playback as well. And I said, look, I hear my voice, but I don't hear the playback. And then I mute my monitor channel, but the voice is still there. So I say, look, there's still a mispatching here because I hear my voice, but it's coming through your desk. And now he starts really investigating. And how is it now? How is it now? And at some point I say, look, it's very simple. As long as I don't hear the playback in my ears, the signal is not coming from my desk. And now he's on it for, I would say, a good 15 minutes or so. And it's getting closer to the time when the artist was expected to arrive. And I didn't have the chance to check anything but the main vocal and the playback on the PA. And then at kind of last minute, he finds his patching mistake. And now I still have a few minutes to go through all the mics and in-ears. So, of course, my point is, even though he was a professional. I'm not saying that he did a bad job altogether, but he did not check his setup. And especially if you have like a bit more complex setup like this Dante split, please check everything before anybody arrives. The other point is, I think it's fair to say that he was lucky that it was me as a guest engineer, because I always stay calm, even if I feel kind of nervousness inside, because I wonder, will this guy be able to sort it? I will never show that, because of course that doesn't help. So I try to help finding the problem and fixing the problem and remain calm. But during my career, I came across so many other guys who would have freaked out at that moment. They would have been all over him, yelling at him, which of course makes it even harder to find the problem. And after that, the entire vibe between people is destroyed. The rest of the day is just... So again, before anybody arrives, please make sure that all your stuff, all your patching, all your routing works the way it is supposed to work. So everybody has an easy day. And that's the story of last Saturday. If you have questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section. If you have a lot of questions, consider booking yourself a coaching call. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel or give me a like. All these things are totally free for you and they help me a lot. That's it for today. Bye-bye.